Every year, archaeologists dig up fragments of the past, pottery shards, foundation stones, tools that fit neatly into established timelines. Every year, we learn a little more about ancient Egypt, Rome, the Maya. We refine our understanding. We confirm what we already thought we knew. But 2024 was different. This year didn't give us refinements. It gave us contradictions, discoveries that don't fit the timeline, artifacts that defy the technological capabilities of their era, evidence that forces us to ask uncomfortable questions about what ancient civilizations actually knew and what they were capable of achieving. These aren't fringe theories promoted by pseudoscientists. These are peer-reviewed findings published by research institutions, excavated by credentialed archaeologists, and analyzed by experts who are openly admitting they don't have answers. Lock your doors, put on your headphones, because after this, you'll never see ancient history the same way again. The first discovery happened in Turkey, near the ancient site of Göbekli Tepe, already famous for being the world's oldest known temple complex, built around 9500 BCE. Göbekli Tepe itself challenged everything we thought we knew about early human societies, because it was constructed by hunter-gatherers who supposedly lacked the organizational capacity to build monumental architecture. But in March 2024, a team from the German Archaeological Institute uncovered something even more disturbing. A subterranean chamber located 200 meters from the main temple site. The chamber was carved into solid bedrock, accessible only through a narrow shaft that descends 40 feet straight down. Dr. Klaus Werner, the lead archaeologist, described the chamber as architecturally impossible for the period. The walls are smooth, almost polished, no tool marks, no irregularities, just flat stone surfaces that would require advanced grinding techniques and precision that didn't exist 11,000 years ago. Inside the chamber, they found a series of stone pillars, similar to those at Göbekli Tepe, but smaller. Each pillar was carved with symbols, not the abstract animal motifs common at the main site. These were geometric patterns, interlocking circles, spirals, angular shapes that resemble technical diagrams more than religious iconography. Klaus brought in Dr. Amina Haddad, a mathematician from Istanbul Technical University, to analyze the patterns. Amina's conclusion was startling. The carvings represent mathematical ratios, specifically, approximations of pi and the golden ratio, concepts that weren't formalized in mathematics until the Greeks over 7,000 years later. How did Neolithic hunter-gatherers, who had no written language, no formal education system, no known mathematical tradition, carve precise representations of advanced geometric principles into stone pillars buried 40 feet underground? Klaus submitted his findings to the journal Antiquity in May 2024. The paper was accepted, but flagged for extraordinary claims requiring extraordinary evidence. Peer reviewers acknowledged the accuracy of Amina's analysis, but questioned whether the patterns were intentionally mathematical or coincidentally resembled known ratios. Klaus responded with a detailed rebuttal, pointing out that the ratios appeared on multiple pillars, in different orientations, with consistent precision. Coincidence doesn't repeat. Intent does. The paper was published in August 2024. It has been cited 73 times in academic journals. Not one citation offers an alternative explanation for the carvings. The second discovery came from the Amazon rainforest, in a region of Brazil that was believed to be uninhabited until Portuguese colonization. In May 2024, a team from the University of São Paulo used LiDAR technology to map the forest floor beneath the canopy. What they found was a city, not a village, not a scattered settlement. A city covering over 12 square miles, with roads, plazas, terraces, and structures arranged in a grid pattern that suggests urban planning on a scale comparable to ancient Rome. Dr. Helena Carvalho, the lead researcher, described the site as a complete rewrite of Amazonian prehistory. We thought the Amazon was sparsely populated, that its soil couldn't support large-scale agriculture, that complex civilizations didn't develop here. We were wrong. Radiocarbon dating of charcoal samples from the site placed construction between 1250 and 50 E and 1500 CE, predating European contact. But it's the engineering that baffles researchers. The city was built on a floodplain, an area that becomes submerged during the rainy season. To solve this, the builders constructed a network of raised causeways and elevated platforms using compacted earth and clay. The platforms are still intact, over 500 years later, showing no signs of erosion or collapse. Modern engineers struggle to build flood-resistant structures in the Amazon without concrete and steel. How did a civilization with no access to modern materials create infrastructure that has survived 5 centuries of seasonal flooding? Helena brought in Dr. Rafael Montero, a civil engineer from the Federal University of Rio de Janeiro, to study the construction techniques. Rafael's analysis revealed something extraordinary. The clay used in the platforms was mixed with a biocomposite material, a combination of plant fibers and organic resins that acted as a binding agent, increasing the structural integrity of the compacted earth. This isn't primitive construction. This is materials science. The builders understood the chemical properties of their materials and engineered a composite that modern researchers are only beginning to replicate. Rafael published his findings in the Journal of Archaeological Science in September 2024. His conclusion was unambiguous. The level of engineering knowledge required to design and construct these platforms suggests a sophisticated understanding of soil mechanics, hydrology, and materials science. This challenges the assumption that technological advancement is linear and that ancient societies were less capable than modern ones. The third discovery came from Egypt. Where else? But this time it wasn't in the Valley of the Kings or the Giza Plateau. It was in the Fayoum Depression, a region 50 miles southwest of Cairo, known primarily for agriculture and fishing, not archaeology. In June 2024, construction workers digging the foundation for a new irrigation system uncovered a stone chamber buried 8 feet below the surface. Inside the chamber was a sealed stone sarcophagus, and inside the sarcophagus was a mummy, but not an Egyptian mummy. The wrapping technique was wrong. The body position was wrong. The burial goods were wrong. Dr. Samir Abdulrahman, an Egyptologist from Cairo University, examined the remains. The mummy was male, aged between 40 and 50 at death. But the linen wrappings were not treated with natron, the standard Egyptian desiccant. Instead, they were coated with a resinous substance that analysis revealed to be a mixture of pine resin and beeswax, materials not native to Egypt and not used in traditional Egyptian mummification. More puzzling were the burial goods. No canopic jars, no ushabti figurines, no amulets or scarabs. Instead, the sarcophagus contained a single object, a bronze disc approximately 10 inches in diameter, engraved with a star map. Dr. Fatima Nasser, an archaeoastronomer from the University of Alexandria, analyzed the engravings. The star map depicts constellations visible from the northern hemisphere, but the positions of the stars don't match the sky as it appeared in ancient Egypt. They match the sky as it appeared around 10,500 BCE, over 7,000 years before the first Egyptian dynasty. How did someone in the Fayoum Depression, buried with non-Egyptian rituals, possess a bronze star map depicting the night sky from a period when Egypt had no written language, no bronze-working technology, and no known astronomical tradition? Samir submitted tissue samples from the mummy for DNA analysis. The results, published in October 2024, were even more confusing. The individual's mitochondrial DNA showed markers consistent with populations from the Caucasus region, near modern-day Georgia and Armenia. Not Egypt, not Africa, the Caucasus. This was not an Egyptian. This was someone from a distant region, buried in Egypt using unfamiliar techniques, with a star map that predates Egyptian civilization by millennia. Samir's report concluded, "We have no context for this burial. It does not fit any known mortuary tradition. The star map suggests astronomical knowledge that should not exist in this period, and the DNA indicates this individual came from a region with no known contact with Egypt at this time. We have evidence of something that defies our current understanding of ancient migration, trade, and knowledge transmission." The Egyptian Ministry of Antiquities has not commented on the discovery. The fourth discovery happened in Scotland, on the Isle of Lewis, where a farmer plowing his field struck something hard. A stone. But not just any stone. A carved stone, part of a much larger structure buried beneath the peat. Archaeologists from the University of Edinburgh excavated the site in July 2024. What they uncovered was a stone circle, similar to Stonehenge but smaller, with 12 standing stones arranged in a perfect circle 30 feet in diameter. Radiocarbon dating of organic material found in the stone sockets placed construction around 3200 BCE, making it older than Stonehenge. But here's the problem. The stones weren't local. Petrographic analysis by Dr. Isla McGregor, a geologist from the University of Glasgow, revealed that the stones were dolerite, a type of volcanic rock not found on the Isle of Lewis. The nearest source of dolerite is the Preseli Hills in Wales, over 500 miles away. These stones, each weighing between 2 and 4 tons, were transported across open water during the Neolithic period, when the people of Britain had no ships capable of carrying that kind of weight, no roads, and no known long-distance trade networks. How did they do? Isla proposed several hypotheses. Rafts, log rollers, coastal transport during low tide, but every model she tested failed to account for the energy required to move stones of that size across that distance. The logistics alone would require a coordinated effort involving hundreds of people, sustained over months or years, for a single construction project. Why would a Neolithic community invest that much labor to transport stones from Wales to Scotland when local stone was readily available? Isla's report, published in the Journal of the British Archaeological Association in November 2024, concluded the construction of this monument required planning, organization, and resources far beyond what we typically attribute to Neolithic societies. The transportation of these stones suggests either a level of technological capability we have not yet identified, or a cultural significance for dolerite that we do not understand. The fifth discovery came from the deep ocean. In August 2024, a research vessel from the Woods Hole Oceanographic Institution was mapping the seafloor off the coast of the Azores, a volcanic island chain in the mid-Atlantic. Using sonar, they detected geometric anomalies on the ocean floor, structures that appeared too regular to be natural formations. Dr. Marcus Flynn, a marine geologist leading the expedition, deployed a remotely operated vehicle to investigate it. The rove descended to a depth of 3,000 feet and transmitted video that left the team stunned. The seafloor was covered with stone blocks, rectangular, uniforms, arranged in what appeared to be foundations for buildings. The blocks were cut with straight edges, fitted together without mortar, and covered in a thin layer of sediment that core samples dated to approximately 12,000 years ago. 12,000 years ago, that part of the ocean floor was above sea level. It was dry land, and someone built something there, something that was submerged when sea levels rose at the end of the last ice age. Marcus brought in Dr. Helena Rivas, an archaeologist from the University of Lisbon, to analyze the footage. Helena's conclusion was cautious but clear. These are not natural formations. The geometry is too precise. The arrangement is too deliberate. If these are human-made structures, they predate the oldest known civilizations by over 6,000 years. The implications are staggering. If humans were building with cut stone 12,000 years ago, it means complex societies existed long before Sumeria, before Egypt, before any civilization we recognize in the archaeological record. Marcus and Helena submitted their findings to Nature Geoscience in October 2024. The paper is currently under review. 3 peer reviewers have requested additional evidence before publication, but no one has been able to explain the structures as natural formations. The 6th discovery was made in India, in the Thar Desert, where a team from the Indian Institute of Technology was conducting a ground-penetrating radar survey searching for ancient water channels. In September 2024, they detected a large underground structure buried beneath 60 feet of sand. Excavation revealed a stepped well, a type of structure known as a step well, common in medieval India. But this step well was different. It was massive, over 100 feet deep, with perfectly symmetrical stairs carved into the walls, descending in a spiral pattern. Dr. Arjun Mehta, the lead archaeologist, dated the construction to approximately 2500 BCE, making it the oldest known stepwell in the world, built 2000 years before the next known example. But what baffled Arjun was the precision. The stairs were carved directly into the sandstone bedrock. Each step was identical in height and depth, with deviations of less than 2 millimeters across the entire structure. Even with modern laser-guided tools, achieving that level of precision over a 100-foot descent would be difficult. Arjun consulted with Dr. Priya Sharma, a structural engineer from IIT Delhi, to analyze the construction. Priya's report concluded, the precision required to carve this stepwell suggests the use of advanced measuring tools and techniques that we have no evidence for in the Indus Valley civilization. The uniformity of the steps indicates a level of quality control that implies standardized measurements, trained craftsmen, and a centralized authority capable of enforcing construction standards. Arjun's findings were published in the Journal of Indian Archaeology in November 2024. His conclusion was blunt. We need to reconsider what the Indus Valley civilization was capable of. This stepwell suggests they had engineering knowledge and organizational capacity that rivals or exceeds what we see in contemporary Egypt and Mesopotamia. The seventh and final discovery came from Antarctica. Yes, Antarctica. In October 2024, a research team from the Alfred Wegener Institute was drilling ice cores in the Transantarctic Mountains when they detected an anomaly in the bedrock beneath the ice. Ground-penetrating radar revealed a cavity, a hollow space carved into the rock, located 400 feet below the ice sheet. Dr. Henrik Larsson, the lead glaciologist, initially assumed it was a natural cave. But when they analyzed the radar data more closely, they noticed something unusual. The cavity had straight edges, right angles, a geometric structure inconsistent with natural erosion. Henrik contacted Dr. Astrid Nilsson, a geologist from the University of Oslo, to review the findings. Astrid's analysis confirmed Henrik's suspicions. This is not a natural formation. The geometry is artificial. Someone carved this cavity into the bedrock, and it was later covered by glacial ice. Radiocarbon dating of ice layers above the cavity suggests it was carved before the ice sheet formed, which means it predates the current Antarctic glaciation. That places its construction at over 10,000 years ago, during a period when Antarctica was partially ice-free. But here's the problem. 10,000 years ago, there were no known human civilizations capable of carving large structures into bedrock. And even if such a civilization existed, why would they be in Antarctica, one of the most inhospitable places on Earth? Henrik and Astrid submitted a preliminary report to the journal Polar Research in November 2024. The report carefully avoids speculation but presents the data clearly. A geometric cavity exists beneath the Antarctic ice. It appears to be artificially created. It predates the current ice sheet, and we have no explanation for who built it or why. 7 discoveries. 7 impossibilities. A Neolithic temple in Turkey with mathematical precision. An engineered city in the Amazon built on flood-resistant platforms. A non-Egyptian mummy in Egypt with a star map from 10,500 BCE. A stone circle in Scotland built with rocks, transported 500 miles. Submerged structures off the Azores from 12,000 years ago. A perfectly carved stepwell in India from 2,500 BCE, and a geometric cavity in Antarctica carved before the Ice Age. Every discovery was made in 2024. Every discovery was excavated by credentialed scientists. Every discovery has been peer-reviewed and published in academic journals. And every discovery challenges the fundamental assumptions we make about ancient human history. We've been taught that civilization is linear, that technology progresses gradually, that ancient people were less capable, less knowledgeable, less sophisticated than we are. But the evidence from 2024 tells a different story. It tells us that ancient societies possessed knowledge and capabilities we don't understand. It tells us that our timeline of human history is incomplete. And it tells us that what we don't know about the past is far greater than what we do. If you've made it this far, thank you. Leave a like if any of these discoveries stayed with you. Tell us which one baffled you the most, and which one we should investigate further. Subscribe to join us as we continue exploring the mysteries that challenge everything we thought we knew. And remember, the past isn't settled history. It's an open question. And 2024 just gave us 7 new reasons to keep asking.